Hello, guys. A very good evening. So, I hope it is streaming fine audio. Do confirm this. We'll proceed with our textbook discussion on sleep. So, usually during any lecture, especially from the teacher's point of view, if a student sleeps or if the audience sleep, it's considered as a failure. The lecture is considered as a failure because it means the person who is teaching is not very interesting or the content which is teaching is not very interesting. But in this session, if you sleep during the process of this session or immediately after the session, I'm going to consider that as a successful live session because this is all about sleep, right? So if you sleep, you're more than welcome. If not, be ready to sleep. So, very good evening, all of you. So, today's live session will focus on certain aspects pertaining to sleep. And based on time availability, we'll continue this topic in the upcoming live sessions as well. So, in this live session, we'll have a textbook discussion on sleep where we'll be referring Guyton and Hall 11th edition. The reference material is posted in our updates group, as you might have seen already. So, shall we proceed? Ready to sleep? It's a very good sign. Okay, so before we start, I have the following questions for you. As you can see in the thumbnail, now please don't ask me what a thumbnail is, okay? So, as you can see, we have the following questions. What is sleep? I mean, you know what sleep is. We all experienced what sleep is. But to understand what exactly is sleep, is it unconsciousness or is it state of semi-consciousness? So what is sleep exactly? So we'll get back to these questions again at the end of the session. And final question, you can see what's the difference between sleep and coma? See, is there any difference? Or once we sleep, can that be considered as a form of coma? So that's something which we'll look into. And then what are different types of sleep? See, even without reviewing literature, you might have experienced that we have different types of sleep, like, very light sleep, sometimes very deep sleep, very restful sleep. Sometimes we feel restless. So different types of sleep. So what are different types of sleep? As per the literature, we'll review them as well. And what is the most common type of sleep we experience during a given duration of sleep, especially during nighttime, right? So that's something which we'll review again. And which type of sleep is restful? As I said, we have broadly two types of sleep. I'm sure you are aware of them. So among these, which is restful sleep? And then, is there any alteration in blood pressure, respiratory rate, basal metabolic rate, brain activity, etc. during sleep? Or are they just as usual during a wakefulness and during sleep? So that's something which we'll review. And finally, what is dreamless sleep and paradoxical sleep? So, dreamless sleep, does it mean we have no dreams? Paradoxical sleep, does it mean we are awake even though as a matter of fact we are sleeping? So these are some of the questions which we'll try to explore in this process of textbook discussion. Again, we'll revisit these questions at the end of the session, and I'm sure you're going to answer almost every question provided you are awake. Okay. Okay, fantastic. So let's start with the textbook discussion. As you can see, now sleep, it's defined as unconsciousness. So obviously it's a state of unconsciousness, but a person can be aroused from sleep upon sensory stimuli or different kinds of stimuli. That's the main difference between sleep and coma. So as you can see in the first paragraph, sleep is defined. See, in this process, I'll try to highlight few important points. You can underline them using your marker pen or you can use your digital tools. So sleep is defined as an unconsciousness from which the person can be aroused by sensory or other stimuli. It is to be distinguished from coma, which is unconsciousness from which the person cannot be aroused. So, this is the distinguishing feature. I'm sure we're all aware of the same. So, there are multiple stages of sleep, from very light sleep to very deep sleep. And sleep researchers also divide sleep into two entirely different types of sleep that have different qualities, which we'll be discussing in the subsequent part of this textbook discussion. And in which type of sleep do we actually dream? So we you see sometimes we tend to have very clear, vivid dreams. Sometimes we don't remember. We dream, but we don't remember what it is. So we'll review and explore all of these aspects now. So two types of sleep, as mentioned. So during each night, a person goes through stages of two types of sleep alternating. It's not that we experience only one type, but mostly it will be alternating, one after the other. So there will be two types of sleep a person experiencing during night. These are called as slow wave sleep and REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. You said non-rapid eye movement, yes, or slow wave. And the second one is rapid eye movement sleep. So slow wave sleep, in this, the brain waves are very strong and of low frequency. So it is slow wave. Whereas rapid eye movement, as the name itself indicates, there is rapid eye movement. Even though the patient is sleep, in a state of unconsciousness, still there is muscular activity, right? We'll get back to that further. So most sleep during night or each night is of slow wave activity or variety. Do underline this point. So most of the sleep which we experience is slow wave variety, right? So this alternates with REM sleep at intervals or periodic intervals of 90 minutes, and the duration of REM ranges from 5 minutes to 30 minutes, which we'll go through now. So most sleep during each night is of slow wave variety. This is the deep, restful sleep that the person experiences during the first hour of sleep after having been awake for many hours. So you're awake this entire day and you sleep at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever the time is. The first hours of sleep, it is a slow wave or deep sleep or restful sleep, right? So this is very important to underline this specific point as well. Whereas REM sleep, on the other hand, occurs in episodes that occupy around 25% of your entire sleep duration, especially in young adults. And this tends to vary. It's not standardized or fixed, it tends to vary. And in fact, sleep researchers have found that there are cases where there are no episodes of REM sleep as well. The person can be only in a state of complete restful sleep. There are such cases. Okay. So each episode normally recurs about every 90 minutes. So we're talking about REM sleep, right? So it recurs after an episode of slow wave activity or sleep. We have this REM sleep for about after every 90 minutes. Do underline this point. And this type of sleep is not so restful, and it is usually associated with vivid dreaming. Do underline this point. So, slow wave sleep is called as dreamless sleep. Even though it's called as dreamless sleep, there can be dreams and nightmares, but there is no consolidation into memory. That means you don't remember. So hence it's called as dreamless. But in case of REM sleep, you will have vivid dreams. You remember to the very detail of what your dream is, right? So do consider this very important. Now let's look into the important characteristics of slow wave sleep and REM sleep, right? So let me just pause for a few seconds. Do let me know if you're able to follow or do you want me to alter any pace? Let me know accordingly. Good, good, Rahil. Hina says interesting topic. It means you're sleeping, Hina. I really wish you sleep. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So let's proceed now. Now let's look into the characteristics of some of the important qualities of slow wave sleep. The restful sleep, which we all need, especially during these challenging times, and also a kind of sleep where we have dreams but we don't remember, hence called as dreamless sleep. So, most of us can understand the characteristics of deep, slow wave sleep by remembering the last time we were kept awake for more than 24 hours and then the deep sleep that occurred during the first hour after going to sleep. So, just remember this. So, the moment you sleep, the first hour or the first few hours is this slow wave sleep which you experience, that is restful sleep. So this sleep is exceedingly restful and is associated with decrease in both peripheral vascular tone and many other vegetative functions of the body. For instance, there is drop in blood pressure, respiratory rate, and basal metabolic rate by at least 10 to 30%. Do underline this point. So restful. Okay. Now, although slow wave sleep is frequently called dreamless sleep, dreams and nightmares, as Rahil mentioned, can occur so during this slow wave sleep. And the difference between the dreams that occur in slow wave sleep and those that occur in REM sleep is that REM sleep are associated with more bodily muscle activity, and the dreams of slow wave usually are not remembered. So the dreams which are seen in REM, they are vivid and they're associated with bodily muscle activity. And whereas this slow wave, we actually don't remember them, and they're usually uh, lost in our memory as there is no consolidation. Okay. So that is during slow wave sleep, consolidation of dreams in memory does not occur. Do underline this point. Consider this very, very important. It doesn't mean that we don't have dreams. There will be dreams, nightmares, there can be so, but we don't remember. Okay. Now, moving on to REM sleep or paradoxical sleep. Yeah, hi, good evening. So, why do you call this as paradoxical? I mean, paradox is self contradicting, something which is self contradicting. See, you think the person is asleep, but when you look at his brain activity or his or her brain activity, it's very much active, just like wakeful person's capacity. So you think the person is asleep, but still the person's brain activity is quite normal. So that's why it's called as paradoxical sleep. So let's look into that. In fact, brain activity decreases during sleep. It's obvious that brain activity decreases during restfulness, as we have seen prior in slow wave sleep. But in case of REM sleep, the brain activity increases by around 20%. In fact, the metabolism brain activity increases. It means the brain is very active, but the person is still asleep. Hence, it's called as paradoxical sleep. So, in normal night of sleep, bouts of REM sleep lasting 5 to 30 minutes usually appear on an average of every 90 minutes. So, this REM sleep alternates with slow wave sleep, right? And when the person is extremely sleepy, each bout of REM sleep is shorter and it may be even absent, right? So conversely, as a person becomes more rested throughout the night, the duration of REM bouts increase, right? So try to understand and correlate this, okay? And these are several important characteristics pertaining to REM sleep, which we'll review now. So the first point you can see, it is usually associated with active dreaming and active body muscle movements. So active dreaming, vivid dreaming, and the person is even more difficult to arouse by sensory stimuli than during deep slow wave sleep. And yet, people usually awaken spontaneously in the morning during an episode of REM sleep. So nothing is a concrete or fixed rule here. Anything can happen. So so the take home message from this particular point is when you compare REM sleep with that of slow wave sleep, it is difficult to arouse a person who is in REM sleep compared to that of a person in slow wave sleep, right? So that's the take home message. So the person is even more difficult to arouse by sensory stimuli than during deep slow wave sleep. And the third point, see, we're saying there is vivid dreaming, increased body muscular activity, and also rapid eye movement, but still there is a contradicting point here. Muscle tone throughout the body is exceedingly depressed, indicating strong inhibition of spinal muscle control areas. Do underline this point. Yet, even though there is inhibition of spinal muscle control areas, yet we find increased body muscular movements, including rapid eye movements. Okay, so heart rate and respiratory rate usually become irregular, which is characteristic of a dream state. So do underline this point as well. So a heart rate and respiratory rate becoming irregular during dream state, and despite the extreme inhibition of peripheral muscles, irregular muscle movements do occur. So this is what we were discussing. So in fact, even though there is strong inhibition or extreme inhibition of peripheral muscles, irregular muscle movement do occur. And also in addition, there is rapid movement of eyeballs. And finally, this is what I highlighted in the beginning part of this discussion. The brain activity increases during REM sleep. So the brain is highly active in REM sleep, and overall brain metabolism may be increased by up to 20%. This is really interesting. And the EEG, electroencephalogram, shows a pattern of brain waves similar to those that occur during wakefulness. So person is asleep, but if you look into the EEG pattern, it appears as if the person is awake because of increased brain activity. And this type of sleep is called as paradoxical sleep, because it is a paradox that a person can still be asleep despite marked activity in the brain. And finally, in summary, REM sleep is a type of sleep in which the brain is quite active. However, the brain activity is not channeled in a proper direction for the person to be fully aware of his or her surroundings, and therefore, the person is truly asleep. In fact, you might have experienced this during your sleep. I mean, it's like you feel like cycling, or you feel like doing some activity and you feel like tripping. So especially during REM sleep, or REM stage of sleep, there can be increased body muscular activity, especially pertaining to dreaming. So this is one interesting finding which they have mentioned. And also, it's mentioned that the brain activity is not channeled in proper direction. Sometimes in sleep, you feel like you are in a state of limbo. You feel like you're stuck. You feel like you have to do something, but you still can't do it. It means, that's what Inception movie is all about, I think. It's a dream within dream concept. So there is brain activity which is similar to that of a person who is fully awake. So you have that full potential, but you're not, this is not channeled properly into the actual work. So you feel like you're stuck up in your dream. You feel like you're helpless. Have you experienced it anytime? I mean, I'm sure I've experienced it several times. And then the moment you wake up, you're very thankful that it's still a dream, or it was a dream, isn't it? Okay, so Ankur is feeling sleepy. So I consider this session as a success. Okay, right. So this is very short information which I wanted to highlight in this specific video. And in the coming live sessions, based on time availability, we'll focus on brain wave activity. We have different types of waves. I'm really particularly interested in those brainwave activities, because using those brainwave activities, we have hypnosis, and you have altogether different specialities which are existing. And we can use this to tap into our potential to get restful sleep, and to tune our subconscious mind into doing almost anything and everything. Take my word, right? So I'll get back to you with more of these topics in the coming days. I hope the session is informative. And before I conclude, let me just revisit the questions which I posted in the thumbnail, and I'm sure you're going to answer them, right? So, yes, Asif, definitely. You can get back through mail for any queries or assistance. I'll help you out accordingly. So we'll start with our first question: what is sleep? So if someone asks you, or if you have this question, what is sleep? So how do you explain that to yourself, or how do you explain that to your family members or to your acquaintances? If they ask you, what is sleep? You say, like, the thing which we do during nighttime, is that sleep? See, during night time, we're supposed to sleep, but we're not sleeping, right? We're very busy Netflixing, and we're very active these days. I don't know what past life is all about. I'm not really going into that now. But, anyways, we'll try to stay within the boundaries of these discussions. Okay, guys, I'm really glad you have several questions. Please get back through me. I'll clarify all your queries. Right? Yeah. Good. So, what is sleep? So, as Priya has mentioned, as Sujay has mentioned, so it's a state of unconsciousness, but still, the person is. The person awakes, like he can be aroused by sensory stimuli, right? So that's what actually differentiates a person who is sleeping and to a person who is in coma, isn't it? So it's a very simple thing. It's a state of unconsciousness. Good. Yet the person can be aroused by sensory or other stimuli. Fantastic. Yes, Sudiksha, Kirti. And what are different types of sleep? Very light sleep, very deep sleep. We have these layman terms, but according to sleep researchers, what are different types of sleep? Simply, we say non-rapid eye movement sleep or rapid eye movement sleep. So, non-rapid eye movement sleep is also called as slow wave sleep. Yes, exactly, Rahil. That's the book I'm talking about, The Genie Within. Yeah, they discuss about all these waves and how we can hypnotize ourselves and then reinforce our subconscious mind and seek positivity. Good. I'm glad you studied. I'm glad you read the book. Exactly. You can use these to implant ideas in your subconscious mind. In fact, we were discussing about one of the movies, right, previously. Yeah, so we have non-rapid eye movement sleep and rapid eye movement sleep. Non-rapid eye movement sleep is also called as slow wave sleep. Good. Now, which type of sleep is restful? So, so after reviewing this literature, it's clearly mentioned that one type of sleep is restful. So, which type of sleep? Yeah, Inception. We spoke about Inception previously. One of my favorite movies. Dream within dream within dream. 2 layers, 3 layers, and so on. Yes, Kirti, thank you for prompting. Yeah. So, which has this restful sleep? Good. Slow wave sleep, non rapid eye movement sleep. Good. Good. Very good. So, what about rapid eye movement sleep? So, there is increased brain activity and all. So, is there any alteration in blood pressure, respiratory rate, or basal metabolic rate during sleep? Especially during slow wave activity or during restful sleep, we have seen how these parameters drop by almost 10 to 30%. Yeah. So that's obviously slow wave sleep. Good. Yeah, we see this rapid eye movement sleep alternating with slow wave sleep every 90 minutes, almost every 90 minutes. Good, Ankur. And finally, what is dreamless sleep and paradoxical sleep? We'll conclude with this. And I have an important announcement pertaining to tomorrow's live session. I'll get back to you at the end of the session. So, what's different? Yeah, drop by 10 to 30% to the previous question. So, what's the difference? Oh, no, no. What's dreamless sleep and paradoxical sleep? Yes, we say dreamless sleep, but there can be dreams and nightmares. So, that is slow wave sleep or non rapid eye movement sleep. Then, paradoxical sleep, yeah, yeah, it's a paradox. High brain activity. The person seems to be sleeping, but his EEG seems to be telling otherwise. That's why it's called as paradoxical sleep. Good. So let me ask you another question. So, in which sleep do you have vivid dreams? Which type of sleep do you have vivid dreams? I mean, I usually say, or we all were told to dream big, right? So, in which sleep do you actually have these vivid dreams? Yeah, during a rapid eye movement, REM sleep. Okay, fantastic. So you're still commenting the answers, which is a good sign that you're still awake. So let's conclude this session. And before we conclude, regarding tomorrow's live session, we're going to plan it in Zoom. We'll have YouTube live and simultaneously Zoom. We'll be interacting live in Zoom. And then we'll be having the same session simultaneously in our YouTube as well. So we'll try managing both. And the topic for discussion, as I posted in updates group and YouTube channel wall, the community page, it is MC principle. I'll get back to you with more details pertaining to this MC principle. And then we'll have some lively interaction and let's see how it goes. Okay. So I'm really looking forward for tomorrow's session. And before we jump into tomorrow's session, see to that you're maintaining notes and underlying all important relevant points and make it a rule that you have a customized notes for all our discussions, right? So that will be a cumulative or assembly of various key important relevant points from all subjects combined. It's going to be your personalized, customized high-yield synopsis. Okay, I hope you got my point. And for any further queries or assistance, you are more than welcome to get back through mail 24 by 7. And please give me at least 24 to 48 hours to answer all your mails. Not namke vaste, but with passion and love. Okay. So I'm glad you all joined live. So have a very great night and good sleep. Wish you all a slow wave sleep coupled with REM sleep. If you say you don't want REM sleep, that's a very bad thing to say because we need dreams. We need vivid dreams. We need dreams which we can remember, isn't it? Good night. Take care. Ram, I need to explore the literature pertaining to coma. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if dreams are there or not. One of you were talking about afterlife or previous life. So there are many theories pertaining to that, but we need to still explore literature. This is very interesting. For sure, this is very interesting because this is something which we all experience, yet there is a lot to understand in depth pertaining to these topics. I mean, we'll get back through. I mean, we have a book called A Genie Within. It's a general book. It's one of my favorite books, written by Carpenter. It actually tells you, explains you about various brain waves and how you can use them, or depending upon the state of your sleep, you can use them to implant ideas in your subconscious mind, stay happy, and then you can see progress. And it's altogether a different concept, which is very interesting one. And I'm sure those who have studied or read it already will correlate, and we'll have a discussion pertaining to that very soon. Okay? Right. Oh, Abhanath is Sriparna using mom's account. Okay, Sriparna, that's really glad to hear. So convey my regards to your mom, and thanks to her for letting you use her account. Yeah, Tata. I'll see you again tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'll share all the relevant links and all in the updates group and in the discussion group, our study club. Okay? Take care. Bye. Renuka, why we are not able to sleep sometimes? Because we all dream to achieve first rank in NEET exam. Maybe that's the reason why you're not able to sleep. Yeah, I'm just kidding, but there can be a number of factors, stress related factors, right? I personally feel stress related factors, overthinking, anxiety. There can be physiological reasons, even pathological reasons for the same. I mean, we'll try to explore more into this topic as we go on. We'll try to explore more and more. Okay. In fact, what Renuka has asked is a very valid question, because if we can know the reasons why we are unable to have a good sleep, then obviously we can overcome the same. In fact, I discussed the very same in one of the previous recorded videos. I remember. In one of the researchers, they have proved that, I mean, before you sleep, at least 1 to 2 hours before you sleep, you have to dim down the lights. And you should not allow yourself to get exposed to that blue light in your mobile. It has something to do with melatonin. Melatonin stimulation doesn't happen if that's the case. So your environment plays an important role in letting you get that deep, restful sleep. I mean, I'll share that related video in our updates group now after this session, since Renuka has put up that question. You'll find some interesting information in this regard. I mean, I can go on and on, but let me stop here. Good night. Take care.